If you're a small brand and wholesale is part of your growth plan, this video is for you because the deal you're being offered by many retailers and the one online platform that has a monopoly on the market, most brands just accept it without question. 30, 60, and sometimes 90 days to get paid, and sometimes never. Hello, Saks Fifth Avenue. Product out the door, money nowhere in sight. Don't fool yourself or your brand. If a retailer won't pay you up front, that's not a partnership. Unless you've agreed on a consignment deal, that's you financing someone else's business for free. In this video, we're talking about why the dream of landing big retail accounts is over and what it actually looks like to do wholesale on your own terms. Most brands hear wholesale and picture their brand being discovered and money flowing in. So what's most misunderstood currently? Number one, that big retail is basically dead. And number two, the time gap between you letting your product leave and you actually getting paid can be way longer than it should. First, let's talk about payment terms. The industry standard for forever in wholesale for fashion brands has been net 30, net 60, sometimes net 90, which means you let your product leave and you don't get paid for 30, 60, 90 days, etc. So you're shipping your product and you don't see money for quite some time, at least 30 days, if not much longer. And who knows if you're actually going to see that money at all. Look what happened with Saks Fifth Avenue, one of America's biggest retailers. It just filed for bankruptcy and failed to pay a ton of their brands a lot of money it owed to them. So for smaller brands where every next dollar is tied to production, marketing, and investing in the next collection, the wait for money isn't just inconvenient, it's actually not sustainable. Here's the standard I want you to walk away with today. Start asking for and get comfortable with. 100% payment upfront is the goal. When you wholesale to solid, legit, small businesses, small retailers that get it, they're in the small business with you, they will not question this. 100% of wholesale accounts I sell my product to, I ask for payment, I get payment up front, and they don't even question it. I won't let my product go without payment. It's just not worth it. If 100% payment upfront isn't possible, I want you to accept 50% upfront and the remaining 50% within 7 to 14 days of product receipt. That's it. Put it in your invoice and purchase order terms. And of course, you've heard about FAIR. You're probably on it, and I'm on it too. And FAIR has its place. On the surface, it definitely makes sense. It's a curated wholesale marketplace. There's indie brands and indie retailers all in one place. And that means no need to travel far to wholesale trade shows, no cold emailing retailers asking for them to buy your products. It feels like the modern answer to doing successful wholesale business. But let's look at the reality for brands and what FAIR actually costs. FAIR charges brands a 15% commission on marketplace orders, plus payment processing fees on top of that. This comes out to about 17 to 19% per order. And of course, on FAIR, you have to pay a higher rate to actually get your money faster than 60 days. If you opt for the 60-day net payment, your fee is still 1.9%. If you want your money within 30 days, you pay 2.4%. And if you want your money the next day, you pay 3.5%. So basically, you're either waiting 30 or 60 days to get your money, or you're paying a higher price to get it sooner. Retailers finding you on FAIR is a better experience than cold emailing random retailers or even retailers you know and not hearing back. But the fundamental problem still persists with FAIR. Your product leaves and you don't get paid for a month, 2 months, and you are also selling at a wholesale margin. So, a lot of times brands have a 50% margin at wholesale, and then they have the 20% fees that cut into it. And what are you actually left with? And FAIR has really cornered the indie wholesale marketplace. Retailers obviously love it because the platform really favors them. The point I'm trying to make with FAIR is I want you to stop thinking I have no choice but to use this platform and to work within their system and their constraints and start thinking, how do I actually make the system work for me? Like, what can I do better? What can I change or shift? And by the way, do I actually need or want to use this system in the first place? So use FAIR and send as many retailers as you know, and even ones that you don't know, send them to your direct FAIR link so you can avoid paying the commission. But also think outside the box. One thing that I do is I use my Shopify site as wholesale for retailers that I know and retailers who reach out to me. I say, instead of going on FAIR, I'm going to create a 50% off code for you on Shopify. I'll make you tax exempt because I know you're a legit retailer, and they can shop directly on my Shopify site for wholesale. So much easier, and maybe this is something you could try too with your brand. Okay, so now we're going to talk about why the old wholesale model succeeded for so long, but now it's not working so well anymore, and what has changed. 20 or 30 years ago, a retailer's shelf space was genuinely valuable to a small brand. It was access, it was discovery, exclusivity, and in some cases, the only way that people could find your brand. Brands needed retailers to survive. Social media didn't exist. Online shopping wasn't common. And brands needed retailers and needed department stores to get their names out and be discovered. But girl, those days are gone forever. Now we have shopping on Instagram, TikTok, Etsy, Amazon, Shopify, and a global supply chain that's very easily accessible to virtually anyone with the internet and anyone who wants anything and fast. Obviously, you can build a direct relationship with your customers through these platforms. And you can do this without being in wholesale or other retailers at all. You can just do this by being direct to consumer and not even dealing with wholesale. A retailer stocking your product doesn't really give you customers anymore. It doesn't really give you clout as a brand. Like the department store days, they are gone. All of the big department stores are struggling, and they're struggling bad. And that's the point of what we're talking about today, is that most small brands, or a lot of them at least, are still walking into wholesale conversations thinking they're the ones asking for the favor. Like, it's a favor if this retailer puts the brand on their shelf. But honestly, you are the favor. Remember that. You are the favor, and you could be doing the brand a favor by having your brand in their shop. So just shifting that narrative and knowing that you have control over what to ask for financially. Your brand is unique and you are the favor, not they're doing you a favor. So to wrap this all up, let's review the new standard, the new minimum standard, and the mindset shift that goes along with it. Because I know what some of you guys are thinking. That sounds great, but if I ask for this, then this retailer will just stop working with me. And maybe, but let's be honest about what you're actually losing if that happens. And again, I remind you to know what your margin is on all your products, because if you have a low margin on wholesale and then you're paying 20% in fees to use a platform like FAIR, how much money are you actually making anyway? So here's the minimum standard that I now want you to consider: 100% payment upfront. If a retailer believes in your product, they'll pay for it. If they don't pay for it upfront, they're letting you know about how they operate and how much trust they have in themselves as a buyer. If you really want to work with them and they're telling you that 100% payment upfront isn't possible, agree to no less than 50% payment upfront before a single item ships. And the remaining 50% payment I want you to ask for within 7 to 14 days of product delivery. So they have time to check it out, make sure it's good, and then they're going to pay you. And that's it. That's the whole deal. Put it in your purchase order, put these payment terms on your invoice, and anything outside of those terms and you're not doing wholesale, you're lending your inventory. And remember, you can offer to do a small wholesale test order to anyone you start working with. They can test your products, you can see how it goes, and then you can let them place a bigger order afterwards. There are ways to be flexible with this too, so that the retailer doesn't feel like they're taking all the risk. And just a reminder, consignment isn't wholesale. If you choose to do consignment, choose sparingly and choose wisely. Have trust in the retailer you're consigning with. I only consign to one retailer that I know very well and I trust. The brands that succeed are the ones who decide their product is worth paying for upfront, and they communicate and maintain that boundary with retailers. Successful brands also don't have the mindset that retailers are doing them favors. They have the mindset that this is an equal business relationship. Both parties are gaining equally from the partnership. The retail landscape has shifted in favor for brands, but you also need to start showing up with this mindset and thinking and acting like that. Protect your brand, your business, and your cash flow. And for more insights into the fashion industry and small business from someone with 20 plus years of experience, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.